Awula Serwah from Eco-Conscious Citizen.
All right.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Excellency, for inviting us. We would like to know when EI 144, which declassifies parts of Achimota Forest, will be repealed. This is something that we know you can do, because as our forests are being decimated, we need more forests and not less of them. And then we are also concerned about the Joy expose, where we saw that Chan fans were being licensed or taxed. And we are concerned that the DCE is still at post. So we'd like to know when DCEs, MCEs, high-ranking persons allegedly involved in illegal mining will be held accountable. And we are also concerned about NAIMOS. They are doing a brilliant job, but they need to be properly resourced. The Forestry Commission needs bulletproof vests, because we know of 2 guards who have been shot. One is dead, the other one is in hospital. And then lastly, we're looking at our water. Our water. We need the test results to be published so that Ghanaians know what exactly we are drinking. It's not just the turbidity, it's also the heavy metals in the body. And the last thing, the Atronsu activists would like to know when the charges against them will be dropped. These are activists fighting to protect the environment, fighting to protect the only source of water, the Atronsu stream. And it's a travesty that they are being prosecuted, whilst persons named in Professor Frimpong Boateng's report and others are walking free. Thank you very much.
That was a quadruple-barrel question. I'm not sure, even though as president I must know as much as possible. E114, I don't really know much about it, but she said it has to do with Achimota Forest. So if it has to do with Achimota Forest, I'm on the same page with you. It's the largest open green space in Accra. We have built everywhere. Accra is becoming a concrete jungle. And so as much as possible, we must protect the Achimota forest. I know there's a family that says it belongs to them. And occasionally they petition and ask that some part of it should be given to them. And in the past, those in charge of those issues, I would say somehow have been compromised, and so it's not been as transparent as possible, and so we've lost a part of it that was given back. I know that the initial intent was in good faith, because part of the forest was given for the construction of Fiesta Royal Hotel. Government did that, and so the family came and said, but this forest we gave to you is supposed to be a forest reserve. You gave part of it for the construction of a hotel, so you must compensate us by giving us part of it. But that whole thing spiraled into endless demands for more acquisition of forests. I don't want to mention anybody, but it has rated at a certain time where parts of the forest were even bequeathed to successors and all that, inheriting people as part of people's estates and all that. So I agree with you. Your CSO should work with us, with the Minister of Lands, and stop any more encroachment of the Achimota forest. Recently, there was a request that came, again pushing for another concession of the forest, and the minister came to me and said, oh, there's this thing, forestry came, it had been processed before we came into office, and they had agreed that they would do this. I said, look, I don't want to hear about Achimota Forest. You shelve it. Nobody is giving any portion of Achimota Forest. So, but I'll engage my attention on what E114, Executive Instrument 144. I'll go and learn about it. I must admit I don't know much about it. There was this report about a district chief executive who, an assembly that was taxing champagne machines. We had it investigated, and apparently it was a practice not only in that district, but in all the gold mining districts when we told them to increase their internally generated funds. One easy way to increase those funds was to tax small-scale gold mining. The mistake they made was they didn't differentiate legal small-scale mining from illegal small-scale mining. And it had existed before these DCs came into office. And so anybody who brings a Shamfan machine into the district, whether it's for legal or illegal, they tax the machine. You're shaking your head. That's exactly the point. I'm saying that it was a carryover to these new DCs. So they continued the practice in order to increase their internally generated funds to tax Shamfan machines. The presidency went into it. We had the special advisor on governmental affairs go into it. And we've given a strict directive that they are not supposed to tax Shamfan machines. Shamfan machines are illegal. And so they shouldn't tax Shamfan machines. They were even taxing excavators and all that, any excavator that enters. And so it defeats the purpose of the fight against illegal mining. And so we need to educate the district chief executives that even though you desire to increase internally generated revenue, you cannot increase internally generated revenue from illegal activity. Otherwise, then you can tax marijuana farmers and all of them. Exactly. So we've asked the Special Advisor on Governmental Affairs and the Ministry of Local Government to issue guidelines, but also bring them in for orientation on what internally generated revenue raising is. And so I think that the Joy expose was good. Apparently when we investigated, it wasn't only that district. It was almost all the districts in the gold mining areas were doing the same thing. So would look at that. Resourcing NAIMOS. This year we are giving NAIMOS 100 million Ghana cedis to continue their activity, and I've assured them that they should start with that, and if during the year we think that they need more money at the mid-year review of the budget, we will allocate some more money to NAIMOS. But I'm happy to inform you that there are some things they don't have. They lack equipment, especially for policing the water bodies. Sometimes you see them in canoes with outboard motors, and some of them, sometimes they have the local people paddling them to fight the menace on the river bodies. The Minister of Finance, who is also acting as the Minister of Defense, has approved a budget for them to bring in new patrol boats that are designed for patrolling rivers. The Ankobra like this is 120 kilometers long. And so you can imagine those fishermen's canoes, what distance they can cover in terms of patrolling the rivers. So they brought purpose-built boats that are able to travel far on riverine areas. And those are going to be procured and given to the police and the army, and they would work with NAIMOS in terms of going further on the river bodies to ensure that all the Shamfan machines are destroyed. Any Shamfan machine, their directive is that any Shamfan machine they find, whether on the river or on land, they should destroy it. And so I get the videos every day, and I can share them with you. Every day they are burning and destroying Shamfan machines. But then also, we just realized that even as we were burning and destroying them, new components were coming for assembling Shamfan machines. Only recently, we busted several containers with the motors and the components for building Shamfan machines. So while we're destroying what is in the system, we must also make sure that the components that come to build the new ones are also not allowed in. And so we're giving strict instructions that all those components, they were not flagged at the time because they come knocked down. And so that motor can be used for other things. But then together they take it and create the Shamfan machine. And so now we are more aware at the ports, and any such equipment that come would be dealt with. I'm not aware of the Atronsu activists, but I hear they're being prosecuted. I don't know if the Attorney General is here, and so maybe he might want to make a comment on it. But before that, testing of our water turbidity. The Water Resources Commission continues to test, but like she said, I think we should publish the water turbidity measures for all the streams and rivers, and it should be a constant thing so that we see whether it's improving or is getting worse. I agree with you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Not just the turbidity, but to test for heavy metal. Thank you.